House TRW will come to order. With that, we'll call roll.
Representative Campbell. Here. Representative Connolly. Representative Harshman.
Here.
Representative Jarvis.
Excused.
Representative Provenza.
Here.
Representative Storer.
Excused.
Representative Thayer. Representative Wharf.
Here.
Chairman Byron.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
With that, we are going to take up Senate File 24. I didn't really think about this since it's a committee bill, but does the department want to present it? Are we comfortable with that? Sorry, I should have planned that one out a little bit better. Please come up and we'll get through this. This is a committee bill for those online listening and those in the room for the interim. Had good support, so we'll go ahead and talk about the bill today that came, our first Senate file that came over, and we'll move forward, hopefully. Please introduce yourselves and welcome to House TRW.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Jessie Defoe, and I'm here with the Wyoming Lottery, and I brought the experts with me today. We just want to first start by thanking you for taking this up as an interim topic for what we feel is a really great and healthy discussion during the interim to come to a very clean and concise bill that we think provides what we needed to in terms of security overall for our retailers and just the simple addition of the debit card in the piece of legislation. That's all the more we're looking to do or want to do. So with that, I'll turn it over to the CEO of the lottery, if that's all right.
Thank you, Ms. Defoe. Please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, representatives. My name is John Klontz. I'm the longtime CEO of the Wyoming Lottery. And as Jesse said, we thank you for all the time you spent on this.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Representatives. My name is Matt Kaufman. I'm an attorney with Hathaway and Coons, the law firm here in Cheyenne, and I serve as outside legal counsel for the lottery.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. Ms. Defoe, do you want to present or do you would like me to? What would you prefer?
Mr. Chairman, it's up to you. I'm happy for you to take the lead. You've done a great job so far. So we're here.
All right, committee. I'm going to take the privilege to stay right in this nice seat up here. So with Senate File 24, it's a bill we worked through the interim, and what it does essentially is allows, after some pretty spirited discussion, and I think a few amendments, it allows us to the lottery, to take debit cards for transactions. And we had a lot of discussion with the committee members about different types of cards and the complications and the intent. And I will ask Mr. Klontz to talk about some of his testimony potentially regarding credit cards and this very clearly not being the intent to go there. Committee, do you have any questions? It's as my good vice chair says, a good little bill, and it's only about a page. So committee, any questions? Seeing none, we're going to go ahead and at this point very quickly open it up for public comment. So please.
Sure. Mr. Chairman, representatives, again, John Klontz. About the credit cards, we are not interested in credit cards. I would never ask for credit cards. I think that would be the wrong thing to do. The board is certainly not interested in that. And I could never see myself nor this board even attempting to pursue that. The debit card issue started merely as a matter of convenience. We started getting more and more questions and complaints about how come I have to use cash? I don't always carry cash. And so we started talking about it a long time ago. And finally, we've come to the place where we think, we can do it from a technology perspective. We know we can. We'll pay the fees. I know that was a concern for retailers. It's not going to make a whole lot of money. It'll make a few $100,000 a year, but principally it'll protect the retailers from not having to carry as much cash on location, and it provides convenient access for the players.
Appreciate that. Ms. Defoe?
I think that those comments are all very accurate. I hope that we, can answer any questions you have with it. Just a reminder too, there are 46 states with the lottery. Of those 46, 44 of them allow debit cards. Us and Tennessee are the only ones who do not. And Tennessee does not allow a debit card because they have an app that links to an ACH banking. So we are the only one without electronic means of transacting business, and it's for the same reason of security and modernization, given the world we live in. We also just want to note too, as Mr. Klontz noted, that we don't expect increased revenue from this. So I just don't want this to be confused with expansion of gaming whatsoever. This is strictly a security issue and modernization issue that we're looking to solve. And we appreciate your time and thoughtful questions this interim. So hopefully we've answered all of, the things surrounding that. But certainly today, if there's anything else that we can provide, we're happy to do so.
Thank you, Mr. Defoe. And please, committee, I will get to questions of these folks in just a moment, but I'm going to keep it tight. Mr. Kaufman, please. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't really have a lot to add at this point. Many of you have seen my face before on some of these topics over the past years with the lottery. Like Mr. Defoe just said, we hear a lot from the retailer network. There's 520
Yes.
retail locations roughly throughout the state of Wyoming on lottery. Many of them, as you all know, are convenience stores. And when jackpots start to run high, it requires those convenience stores to have a lot more cash on hand, which can be a security concern. As Mr. Klontz already testified, this has been an ongoing issue for the lottery, one of competitiveness, as the lottery is the state of Wyoming's only owned gaming revenue source. We just want to make sure we're staying with the times, current, giving players the convenience. But at the same point in time, this allows the lottery the ability to still restrict how much a player can buy at one time and still follow, through with those, problem gaming type policy issues. So we're very cognizant of that, and that's been worked in this process. As Mr. Klontz said, the board of the lottery, which is all appointed by the governor, is very, very aware of, problem gaming issues, is not looking to expand this to credit in any way, shape, or form. So we think it's a very nice incremental modernization. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman, and thank you too for your work on this and testimony through interim. And committee, if you have questions, please signal me. But I do remind me, and I'm sure all three of you can answer this. What is that one-time purchase limit? Is it $100?
125.
125. Okay, perfect. Thank you, committee. Any questions of any of these good folks? Representative Worf.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And maybe this isn't a fair question, but I want to ask it because I think I know the answer. But obviously, we don't have a crystal ball. There's always a concern that we let the camel get its head in the tent and it expands. And you've said that you don't seek to do that. Would you help that effort be defeated should there be a movement to say we want to allow credit cards to be utilized?
Mr. Chairman,
Please.
Representative, I absolutely would.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong to do. I mean, we all know why we don't want people to be able to use credit. And no matter where I was running any lottery, I wouldn't support that. I think that's a bad idea. And I've been in states where I've seen gambling explode beyond what it maybe should have, and it wasn't good for the state. So I would never support that.
And thank you, Mr. Chairman, because I did want to get that out. I believe that's the position, and I would count on you to help us defeat that should that ever arise.
If I
Thank you.
could help, I will help.
Thank you. Committee, any other questions of these nice folks? Any other questions before we move on to other folks in the room? Thank you for being here. Don't go far, as you know, and we'll invite anyone else in the room on Senate File 24. Please, when you get up here, introduce yourself. Remind us who you're representing or don't. And yeah, please, let's start with Mr. Mosier.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Mike Mosier, Wyoming State Liquor Association. We support this legislation. Now, it's been tossed out a couple of years in the past, and we're part of the reason it didn't get very far because we had 3 specific conditions we felt needed met before we took debit cards. First one, as Representative Worf mentioned, is no credit cards. And we would fight that too. The lottery doesn't want it. We don't want it. The transaction fees are too high. You run into all sorts of payment issues sometimes if people don't pay their credit card bills. Debit card, straight out of checking account, piece of cake. The other thing is we wanted to make it so it's optional for retailers. So if you decided not to take debit cards, you don't have to. And lastly, that the lottery absorbs the cost of the debit cards. Much credit to the Wyoming Lottery, but they passed a resolution that addresses those 3 specific issues. And so that's part of the reason we're fully in support. I would like to thank the Lottery Corporation for addressing those issues. If I may, quick background, expansion of gaming is going to come up. This is not an expansion of gaming. In fact, the lottery is probably the most limited version of gaming in the state. Representative Harshman, I hate to date ourselves, but you remember lots of lottery bills in the past. First lottery bill I worked with was in the 90s. I know I don't look that old, but and the problem is we tried video lottery terminals. Remember that? A lottery tied with the video lottery terminals to help horse race tracks. We tried the lottery for education, which was on a Georgia model. And then we found out that if we had a semi-autonomous entity like this, we modeled it after Georgia because that's what they had, and we eliminated scratch tickets. And there was a representative from Buffalo who was an economist, and I knew that if we got rid of scratch tickets, he'd support it. And that was the 31st vote we needed. And that's exactly how many votes we had. And so that's really the lack of scratch tickets that was what allowed this to pass. Part of it, ladies and gentlemen of the committee, is lottery is really bad for if you've got an addiction because it's not instant gratification. You don't drink a bottle of Jack Daniels hoping to get a buzz in 2 days. It's entertainment. It's not really addictive because, and if you look at the demographics who does lottery, it's not the same as your normal gaming public. And I'm not dissing those other forms of gaming, but it's just a different world. Now, one thing I do want to point out, and you remember Dave Edwards, he tried those bills and we tried over and over, but as soon as we took the scratch tickets off, we had ourselves a lottery. And so part of the problem we're dealing with, and I'm really, okay, if I can say, I'm worried about this bill in the House because it's a really good bill. It's a simple bill. It's a good bill for retailers. It gives us options we didn't have before. A lot of people don't carry cash now. They carry debit cards, and customers get irritated when they can't use debit cards. But this bill and a couple others are suffering from what I call collateral damage on gaming. Because there is one sector of gaming, and I'm not dissing any of it, that is growing like crazy, but nobody else is, but we're all paying the price. We don't need an expansion game. Well, this isn't. Skilled games aren't growing, pull tabs aren't growing, bingo isn't growing. There's one sector that is. This is not an expansion. This just gives us another payment method to help our retailers and service our customers. And so with that, committee, I will take any questions, and I appreciate your attention on this matter. I appreciate the work, your work in the interim. Once again, I appreciate the work that the Lottery Corporation has done.
Committee, any questions of Mr. Mosier? Committee, any questions? Not seeing any. Thank you, Mr. Mosier. Please introduce yourself, Mr. Downing, for the committee, and let's go.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Jonathan Downing appearing on behalf of Wyoming Petroleum Marketers Association members. You're a hard act to follow. Good work. Mr. Chairman, our members are rise in support of the bill. We had some concerns around courier services, which we shared with the lottery. Lottery addressed those questions through a resolution as well as some great collaborative discussions. And so we support the bill and appreciate your committee's work on it and would echo the eloquent words of Mr. Mosier.
Thank you, Mr. Downing. I would definitely say an act to follow. Committee, any questions of Mr. Downing? Any questions? Not seeing any. Thank you both for being here. Anyone else in the room for public comment? We did have, and I don't want to cut anyone short if they're Jones going to get up in the chair, but we did have one online that, is no longer online. All right. Seeing no other public comment, I'm going to go ahead and close public comment. Committee, what is your pleasure on Senate File 0024? Moved by Representative Wharf, second by Representative Campbell. Committee, let's go ahead and work this good committee bill from our interim. Page one, any changes? Any changes is on page one? Page two, any changes? Any changes on page two? Committee? Any question being called? Any comments on the bill? Not seeing any. Representative Thayer, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a question. I know I have a quick little story, but also went into one of those convenience stores the other night and I thought this cashier was maybe 12. Found out she was 16, but just that whole thought, and somebody came up to buy a lottery ticket and I'm like, and handed her a wad of cash. And I'm just stood there and went, looking around like this little thing that was probably 90 pounds soaking wet. So on that note, is there, for maybe potentially when this would get to the floor, is there any data that would support the safety or security of, that we could maybe have in our back pocket? Just because for me, this bill was, no question, because of the safety and security of our convenience store workers. And so I don't know if there's anything that we could maybe obtain.
Representative Thayer, I think that's a great point to make. While I don't want that question necessarily to be answered during the question being called, I think that is certainly something I'm happy to work with you on prior to this getting up to the floor. And I do echo those comments. I have talked to folks that previously testified that the security concern, while we don't want to talk about it very much, is a real thing. Not something we necessarily want to broadcast, but let me work with you on that as we begin to potentially carry this up on the floor. Committee, any other comments before we do a roll call vote on Senate File 24? Representative Worf.
I feel a little conflicted because this is impacting my business plan that I was putting together, and it's really going to hamper my ability to go withdraw some cash. But I know, talking to the people in my community, it's a big deal. And if it's the desire of the committee, I would be more than happy to carry this bill. I think if the committee would like me to, I would offer that because I do think this is one that we need to get passed.
Thank you, Representative Worf. That is music to my ears. And I do recognize some of our unique districts, this does impact more than others. So with that, committee, any other comments? Seeing none, let's go ahead and go to a roll call vote for Senate File 24.
Mr. Chairman, this is a roll call vote for Senate File 24. Representative Campbell.
Aye.
Representative Connolly. Representative Harshman. Representative Jarvis.
Excused.
Representative Provenza.
Aye.
Representative Storer.
She left an aye vote.
Representative Thayer.
Aye.
Representative Worf.
Aye.
Chairman Byron.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, you have 8 ayes, 1 excused.
Appreciate that. And Representative Worf, thank you for offering. I'm sure we could back clean up for you up there. We'll come up with a strategy committee with that. We are adjourned. We will start to see some more Senate files, obviously on Tuesday. I also want everyone to know we will get it. Uniquely, the large project funding bill was usually referred back to TRW, then we re-refer it to appropriations, but they skipped this step and went right to appropriations. And I think out of respect for time is my guess. But I have invited Director Budd to come maybe brief us on Tuesday on that bill, if that's all right with you, committee, and also keep thinking about our interim topics. We did set a date for that last week, I believe Tuesday at 12:30 for interim topics, and they're due by, I think, end of next week. So yeah, 27th. Thank you, Representative Worf. Let's keep on that. And that link is obviously on the website, or we can all, you can certainly chat with me about it. With that, we're adjourned. We'll see everyone upstairs. Thank you.